Today is Friday, the 10th of February, and this is from the South. An Arizona mother of two who lived in the United States for more than 20 years and was deported to Mexico on Thursday has vowed to fight on. Guadalupe Garcia was one of the first to be swept up in the Trump administration's crackdown on illegal immigrants in the United States. Garcia is seeking legal advice. The ongoing violence in the Brazilian state of Espírito Santo amid a police strike has left more than 100 people dead. The strike has entered its 7th day and more than 3,000 federal troops have been deployed to contain the situation. However, the deadly violence still continues. Chilean workers are gearing up for what could be a prolonged strike at the world's leading copper mine, BHP Billiton's Escondida. The walkout began on Thursday morning as the company and union remained at loggerheads over a salary and benefits package. Union President Patricio Tapia said the miners would take the strike to the end. Peru's government has issued an arrest warrant for former President Alejandro Toledo for his alleged involvement in the Odebrecht bribery scandal. The judge who issued the warrant said Toledo should spend up to 18 months in jail while prosecutors investigate him for allegedly taking $20 million in bribes from the company. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets of Buenos Aires on Thursday to demand the reinstatement of 380 workers who were dismissed from the country's largest printing plant, AGR. The company is owned by the media conglomerate, the Clarin Group. According to the parent company, AGR was closed due to growing losses, allegedly reaching $8 million in the initial 9 months of 2016. Dozens of anti-nuclear activists rallied in front of Prime Minister Shinzo Abe's office in Tokyo to demand the closure of Japan's nuclear plants. In 2014, the government changed the National Energy Plan and stated nuclear energy will be used to combat global warming and achieve an affordable energy supply. Hundreds of thousands rallied in Iran against U.S. President Donald Trump on the 38th anniversary of the revolution. Marchers carrying Iranian flags and anti-U.S. banners ridiculed and condemned the Trump administration's recent statements on Iran. Last week, Trump put Iran, quote, on notice in reaction to a January 29th Iranian missile test and imposed fresh sanctions on individuals and entities. 12 people were arrested at protests in Ankara, Turkey, against the dismissal of academics by President Tayyip Erdogan's government. Up to 1,000 people, including academics, had tried to gather at the campus, but police blocked their entrance, firing tear gas and rubber bullets. Clashes broke out in Bahrain over the death of 3 alleged fugitives. Protesters marched through the streets, hurling tear gas canisters back at security forces. According to Bahrain, the men were killed during a gun battle at sea as they tried to flee to Iran. 7 others were captured in the same battle. Dutch police has seized rare material which would be enough to make 1 billion ecstasy pills in a truck in the village of Rillard, which is located close to the Belgian border. According to the police, the haul was worth several $100,000 on its own.
Donald Trump's policies toward Israel and Palestine will eventually flare conflict not only in the occupied territories but also in the region. The new president's promise to relocate the U.S. Embassy in Israel from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem will undermine the viability of the two-state solution. Moving the embassy would mean that U.S. recognizes Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. It will also mean a reinstallation of the international agreements and the deviation from the U.S. fixed policies since the conflict erupted.
Moving the embassy was one of Donald Trump's tools for his elections campaign, but it doesn't mean that he will forge ahead with his plan within a few days, weeks or months. Although Trump's promised to relocate the U.S. embassy in Israel, but I think his issue will re-examine again, but sooner or later it will happen.
President Mahmoud Abbas has proactively sent letters to a host of world leaders, asking them to block Trump's approach. Hamas officials have also warned that relocating the embassy would put more oil on the fire. Meanwhile, Trump's administration has also frozen the transfer of $221 million payment greenlit by the Obama administration to the Palestinian Authority and has threatened to stop the funds if it's inappropriate. During the Six-Day War in 1967, Israel expanded the borders of Jerusalem, annexing to the West Bank about 71 square kilometers of Palestinian land. Since then, Israel has built 12 settlements on the annexed land. Israel views Jerusalem as its capital, but world leaders consider its final status a matter of peace negotiations. Nuhara Zain, teleSUR TV, Palestine.
Cuba kicked off its 26th annual International Book Fair in Havana on Thursday, paying tribute to the late revolutionary leader Fidel Castro. Authors and guests from 46 countries will participate in the event, which lasts for 10 days. The book fair is the most popular and widespread cultural event in the Caribbean nation. More on these and other stories on our website telesurtv.net/English.